Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Larry Conness. Some apologies for starting out a little bit late, but the show is going on. We're going to be talking today about matters to do with people who want to do business. I don't know about you, but a lot of us think that maybe we can do a business of our own. Usually, the trick is if you're employed, whether to leave employment, jump into business, whether to wait until the right time to do it, whether to see if the business is growing fast before you dive head fast. This morning I'm privileged to talk to a gentleman who's a young man, not a retiree, who was employed, who jumped out of employment straight into the fire of unemployment. And he's succeeding, by the way. CEO of Golden Memories, MICHEL, LIBAMIRA, karibu sana.
Asante sana, Levi. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah? It's Golden Memories Events.
Golden Memories Adventures and Events.
Adventures and Events. Yeah. Well, why do you have adventures there?
Because Adventures caters to the safaris and the vacations and the holiday homes, and Events caters to the parties, the weddings, the funerals, and anything to do with event organizing.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the beginning.
Yeah.
Lots of guys are, have worries about, can I leave my employment for business? For you, what happened? What was the thing that tips the scales?
That's a good question. For me, I guess my personality was a very outdoor person, and I was not used to four squares in terms of the four walls of the office. So I knew it from a very long time that I wanted to do business, but I wasn't very sure when I would start. But I guess this one particular moment when I just woke up and I just felt like I think now I just need to jump into the deep end, and I just got into business. So I can say I think I was pushed at some point because where I was working employed before, I wasn't feeling like I was satisfied. I felt like I can do much more with myself.
How long had you been there?
So I have been employed for about 10 years, different employment. The last employment, the last one I resigned, and the previous one we were retrenched. Yeah.
Which one? You were retrenched first and you got another job?
Yes. Yeah, so yes, I was working for an ISP, that's an international company. So we were retrenched. I worked there for about 7 years. At the height of my career, I was being paid about 400,000 shillings per month, but the company needed to restructure and save some costs. So one of the cost saving was to reduce the employees who are being paid the most. And as a marketing manager, I was among the highest paid in the company. So we were retrenched, and 2 weeks later, I got a job offer from one of my clients, and then which I worked for about 2.5 months, and then I resigned into business.
Yeah, that was a lot of money for a young man.
It was good. It was good. I can't complain.
Yeah.
I was able to travel, of course, buy good things. I was able to buy a nice car. I bought a Mercedes through the employment. I think that was just a nice ride, I can say.
Yeah, then you got retrenched.
Then I got retrenched.
Then what happened? What year is this now when you got retrenched?
2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got retrenched, and the good thing is that a very good employer. This is Onanchi Group. They because of the 7 years I've been working with them, they told me, we're gonna give you an appreciation package. So they gave me 2 million shillings as an appreciation for the years that I've been working. They told you, please go to your next future and have a good life. Mm-hmm. So it was a good boost for me at the time. So I was able to at least start some business with the money that I had.
So that is when you decided, now you're retrenched, you decided, let me go into. So you are probably pushed out.
You can say that I was pushed out. But
circumstances, eh?
You can say that, but I'd actually started the business while I was employed. Because during my off times, I was able to organize trips here and there. I was able to organize a party and then make some money. I remember there's once when I was employed, I organized a trip for some guys from the Philippines. I'd already set up my company as well. So during my free time, I'd go market my business and get customers. So I remember there's once I got these guys from Philippines who were coming for a 5-day trip to Masai Mara and Homa Bay. And they paid us about 400,000 shillings for that entire trip. There were 13 of them. And I said that was sort of my wake-up call. I realized that I can actually make money from something that I love.
So give us the concept first. You said you were actually doing business on the side before this employment went past. At that time, when you're doing business on the side, what was the concept? The initial concept was what kind of business, to who?
Great. So the initial concept was to do a business that I like. So I love photography, I love videography. So I would do small parties where I would go and take pictures, get a 5K here. I do a videography shoot, maybe for a wedding, I get another 10,000 shillings. And this is mostly over the weekend. My employment was Monday to Friday, so I was free Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday I would go, do my business, maybe organize a small party and get that income. So I was learning slowly by slowly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then this whole thing of tourists, you going places,
yeah,
you really talk about.
That's a good question. So what happened is, when I was promoted, I had a team of about 20. So when they did well, I was able to, do a trip for them. So I'd organize a trip to Naivasha. Another time we'd do a place called Njoro, where I would just go for camping and all that. And
this would be for your staff?
This is for my staff, yeah. So, of course, one of my staff would be like, oh, you're very good at this. Why don't you, organize for other people and make money out of it? So that's when one person referred me to another person. And when they heard that I can organize trips, someone told me I have some guys coming from Philippines. Why don't you handle them? And that's when I actually now did the trip. And I was like, wow, I can actually do that. I organize everything from the airport to the hotel, from the hotel to the other hotel in Masai Mara, and the driver and the food and kila kitu.
It was your first time?
It was my first time.
How difficult was it?
It was not difficult. I can say because I worked with, since I don't own the vehicles, I worked with someone who has a vehicle. So this is someone who knew the terrain. So mine was just to tell them, these are the customers, take them to this place and bring them back properly.
So ulicheza kama broker?
Of course. You have to, because a Land Cruiser is about 6 million shillings, so I cannot be able to afford that. So I need to work with someone who has that vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So from there, so this trip was a success, and then the issue with employment was going the way it was going. So you decided, okay, all in.
Great. So not really all in. So I can say employment, of course, is a way of making you comfortable, especially if you have a decent salary. You want to jump up, but then you're like, okay, if I jump out, how am I going to pay the bills?
Yeah.
How am
What's the assurance?
What's the assurance, And if you have a family, that's another thing. You're telling your wife you want to jump out, and they're like, where are you going? Ebu, stay there. You have a kid, you have to take care of their clothes and all that. So it's not a very easy decision. But I can say, I think when I moved to the next employment, I had a boss, unfortunately, who was very condescending towards Africans. He was a Mzungu person. So you'd be in a meeting, they talk very tough words, using F words, saying, we don't see what the F you're doing in this company. So I guess at that time, I felt like they did not see my value. So like, yes, I'm earning 20,000 shillings, but this people don't see what I bring to the company. So I'd rather be at peace earning my 50K from my business rather than earning 4 times that, but I'm not happy with where I am. That's one day I remember I was just going to the office and we had a meeting at 9 a.m. So I reached the parking lot and I was like, something in me just told me, I could not move. It's like you can take a donkey to the river and he doesn't want to drink water. I did not want to leave the car. And that's when I just made the decision. I was like, God, I don't feel like going to this employment. I think today I'm just going to resign. I don't know what's going to happen next, but let's take this journey together. So I drove to Java restaurant. I wrote my resignation letter. I remember I called my boss and told him I'm not able to come for the meeting because I don't feel like I'm at peace in this company. But it's been a good company. Let's have our own handshake. And it was very interesting at the time when my boss actually called me later on and was like, okay, let's sit down and talk. What's happening? And then he was actually able to guide me and told me that sometimes you can be in unemployment, but things are not going. You're not going in parallel waves with the company.
You're not in tandem with their things.
They're kind of clashing. And he told me that it's very much okay to actually decide. We're not in the same page right now, but we can be able to be. You can actually make that decision and say, let me just put this on hold. Let me try this another day, but not wait until the day that they'll be like, we don't need you anymore. Go. So I had to make that decision to say, let me just try this other business out.
So you actually told him, I'm resigning and I'm resigning.
Yeah.
So then you resigned.
Then I resigned, and I remember when I went home, I told my wife I had resigned.
What day of the week was it?
I think it was on a Thursday. I told her by the day, I'm done with employment. She's like, are you serious? Are you kidding? What are you going to do next? How are you going to pay the bills? I'm like, you don't worry. As a man, you have to make her comfortable. Like, don't worry, baby, I got this covered. Yeah? It was not easy, but deep in my heart, I wasn't feeling that vibe.
Yeah, usually when you resign, you don't get a lot of that story of the package and stuff. Did they give you anything?
Nope. It was just a warm handshake,
Thank you for working with us.
Have a good life ahead. It felt like a forced marriage, if I can say. Like someone had brought me a woman and told me, get married to this person. I wasn't feeling that vibe. I wanted to marry my own kind of woman.
So,
yeah.
So when you resigned, so then what did you start planning next now? And how do you start planning? Did you take some time off? Did you?
Actually, good question. I took some time off. I took a week off. I went to Diani. Diani is my favorite destination in Kenya. I just took a hotel by myself.
Mine too.
I'm sure now you understand.
There's a lot you can think when you're looking at the ocean.
I got a nice beach home. I was able to see the ocean. I sat down. I put my business ideas together. So I put my business plans in terms of what I'd want to do for the next 5 years and how much money I would want to earn per month. So I said I'd want fires to bring me, say, 200 Gs a month. I'd want photography to give me 50K per month. I'd want, maybe say the events to give me like another 100, and this is my income because this is my lifestyle, what I want to achieve. And then I made a prayer, and frankly, I won't lie to you. I just told God, I don't know where I'm going, but let's go together. Because there's no guarantee of success. And we went with God in the deep end, and we swam with the sharks. It's been, this is the 6th year now.
This is the 6th year?
Yeah.
So that first year, tell me about the first 3 months.
That's a good question. So the first 3 months, I was very excited. I was very energetic. I want to get into the market. I want to get into business. I want to.
You're chasing every lead, talking to everyone.
I'm telling you, I tried everything from catering. I did catering for a small party. Now, the chicken that I did, it was not smelling very fresh. Everything else was good, but I did the catering. I even at some point I was a DJ. I DJed to get an extra 10 Gs. So I can say I tried maybe 6 or 7 businesses. I opened a wine and spirit business because I thought it was bringing in business.
A wine and spirits?
Yes, I did.
Hey.
I don't know if my mom is watching, but yeah, I did because I was told, I'm a business person and there's no limitation to business.
Yes.
So I was like, I've been told, wine sells. I'm like,
I've seen many of those in the pandemic. Some of them are even 4 or 5 shops at the same time. I'm like,
true.
Are they all making money? Maybe.
So I can say the first 3 months, the first month was very good. I can say I made about 300,000 shillings revenue from all the businesses together. This was now January. And now in February, I made 0 income. And that's when I realized business is not like employment where you have a constant salary. One it's like this, one it's like that. I remember even in February, I didn't even have enough money for rent. I had to borrow my brother money for rent to pay 30K for my house. And you can imagine, I had 30 Gs the previous month. And now so of course, tunaenda out na maboys, utakunywa nini? Pewa.
Kwa sababu unajua biashara ina flow.
If I'm getting 30 Gs, mimi ni kiongozi. You go to a place and there's no limitation to what you can buy. And of course, I can say I have a European lifestyle. So I'd want to go there and have no limitation to what I want to enjoy. So that's my mistake. Nikasema pewa. Of course, vacation again, nikaruka Malindi kidogo for a few days.
Ukaharibu hiyo pesa
yote. But then February taught me like it's never consistent. So February 0 income, I had to borrow money
That was the reality check.
That was the reality check. And of course the guys who are throwing, wako wapi unamuuliza si wewe ni entrepreneur, si uko na pesa, si umetoka Malindi for 5 days. Atauna doa hakuna. And then at least I was able to plan myself. And then in the 3rd month, I was able to get a bit of income. I got a 50 Gs. And now that's when I was like, calm down, relax, take things pole pole. Yes, so that's how it was.
Ukaanza pole pole.
Pole pole.
Now in restructuring now your business and yourself, because it's here you are a young man. You're not even 30 then at that point.
I was 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're barely over 30 right now.
Yeah.
So then, if at that moment you're restructuring yourself and you're thinking about your lifestyle and your life, what changed? What do you need to make change personally to make this business grow?
That's a good question. So I can say I decided to focus on a few things. I was doing everything in business. I can say at one point I was trying 10 different types of businesses. So I just gotta, of course, appreciate my girlfriend at the time. She was like, stop whatever you're doing, just focus on 4 things that you think that can bring you income. if others come on the way, sour, but master these 4 elements. So that's when I narrowed it down to 4 elements, and I was able to, from there, focus on now the business.
Helpful to have a partner who can say that.
It does, because you see, your mind is all over the place. You see something on Facebook, I'm looking to start a car wash. You're like, I can get this business. Actually broke. Let me after a car wash and try get this guy to do this business. You see someone else looking for a TV wall unit. So let me go to Luthuli. Let me buy a TV, sell this one, and I install 5Gs. So I was all over the place. Because at the end of the day, I need to have the income. And you can imagine, I'm coming from a good salary, so my lifestyle is a bit high. So traveling, you have to have your wine once in a while. You have to go to a nice restaurant and enjoy some Sauvignon Blanc and some nice, fish. Yeah. So I needed to sort of maintain that kind of lifestyle, and then of course you have a girlfriend that of course I want to impress, so once in a while I have to take her for Valentine's, to go to the movies. I have a car as well. Yeah, it has to have fuel, so
it has to be serviced, all those things.
Of course, and you cannot be a business person, you're the CEO of a company, and then you're sitting there panning a matatu, they'll be like, hey, I thought you are prepared, you're okay. I thought if I'm panning matia, maybe say I'm going to Kayole, they'll be like, hey, there must be something wrong, you're not sure. So there's that sort of image you have in business that you feel like you have to maintain, like a status quo, if I can say. Yeah.
So after this really bad month, how did the bounce back come?
Great, good question. So
and was it quick?
It was not quick, it was gradual. It took about 6 months to get that sort of rhythm flowing. So one thing that I can say helped me was I joined a business club and I joined an events association. So I joined an association called EOK, which is Event Organizers Association of Kenya. It's currently the biggest in the country. So I was able to get business referrals from them. So for example, I remember I bought my first set of sound equipment. I bought 2 speakers, a DJ deck, and all that. I remember I was telling you I'm a DJ. I was able to buy some equipment. And I joined the association. In the association, we had a WhatsApp group where I would say, we do these events, we do good quality sound system, we do photography. And someone would call me, hey, I saw your post, I saw your pictures, can you do this event for us? And one event after the other, we were able to do good job. So I remember, I think when we bought our first sound equipment, it took us 6 months before we got our first job. Okay, because people don't know you. Who are you? You've just come to the market, yeah? So from one event, I was able to get a referral. Guys will be like, oh, I saw what you did in Lavington. We have a birthday party in Buruburu. Can you come and do for us? I go to Buruburu. From Buruburu, someone in the same party tells, I like what you did. We are having a wedding coming up. Can you do this? And the event organizers who would trust us to do our event, since we would set up on time, they'll be like, oh, I have another event next month. I have 2 in this month. And that's how we grew.
Who were you working with at this point in time? Who did you bring in your circle?
So we brought in, of course, the Event Organizers Association. So I was in about 3 associations. And we had...
As your staff yourself, did you...
my staff.
Yeah.
At the time, I was working with freelance people, since I'm not able to afford a salary. So I would work with...
kazi tu, baada kazi?
Yes.
You wait until the next one.
The next one. So I'd get a DJ, we have an event here. I'd get a technician, I need you to do wiring. We have an event next month. Come and set up. I pay them the 2K per day. They go home, we wait for another event.
Tell me, most disastrous event? I'm sure you have one.
Of course.
What happened?
We had a trip to Sagana, a place called Savage Wilderness, beautiful place. So for me, I like to give my customers the best, over and above. So when it comes to, for example, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I want to give them nice food. I want to give them fish fingers, I want to give them sausages, I want to give them cereal, I want to give them sandwiches. So we did the event in Sagana, and we had about 20 guests. And I remember, since we're doing the catering, I had to do the shopping. When I'm going to the supermarket, I put everything. I put ham, I put bacon, I put very nice stuff. So when you go to the event, it looks very fancy. You have nice food, you have everything going on. But then when checking out the hotel, the guys are like, oh, but there you have a deficit. How much? 50,000. Like, wait, what do you mean? Me, I've bought so much food, but I've forgotten that I needed also to take care of the hotel. So the money that I've been paid by the clients is not enough to cater for all this other shopping that I've done. So I said that's why I went deficit by 50,000 shillings. So when I'm leaving the campsite, so the guests have already enjoyed themselves, they've gone home. I mean, I've remained there with my staff, I've been told, yeah, you can't leave without making the payment. So me, I'm there not trying to borrow money. So at least I had like some 30 G's extra. And then I had to borrow, in fact, one of the guests, do you have 20K? I will charge next week.
So you did an event and you went to the negative?
Yes, 50,000 shillings negative.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what did that teach you?
It taught me budgeting. You need to budget. If you're having 20 guests, budget 2 sausages per guest. Each sausage is worth 30 shillings. Do not put there.
Oh, so now you're going to the nitty-gritty.
Yes.
It's not just a matter of...
Yeah. It's not just about buy 3 packets of sausages. If don't buy ham if it is part of the budget. Don't have cornflakes, it's not part of the budget. Just get tea, bread, sausages, mayai, and maybe pancake. Bas. Don't bring their cornflakes, Weetabix.
But individually cost it.
Individually cost it per person. So if per person they're paying you 5,000 shillings, you're paying the hotel 2K for the accommodation, your profit is a K margin, and 2K is for food. The 2K per person is what you will budget for food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It will share upon
ndani. So kama you're unable to afford juice, wewe upatie tu chai na upatie maji. Mwambie kama unataka juice, unile duka enda ununue juice. So I learned from that.
Has it worked?
Brilliantly. Now at least I'm able to cost everything. Even if you give me 2,000 people, 5K people, I will tell you, this is the cost. We will charge 5K per person. It will be 2.5 million. A K will go to the accommodation. 2K will go to the meals. So I know for 5K people, we'll use this amount of money just for meals, and it will be per cost.
So it becomes easier now to calculate your
exactly.
The end game for you
exactly.
is this.
And I'm glad that I learned from just 20 people. You can imagine if I had 100 guests the first event. Ningewa negative ya 500,000. Yeah.
Ngumia sana.
Sana. And get a bankrupt. Yeah.
Best event, the one that made you think, you know what?
Yeah.
I did this right.
Yeah. So we had an international client, and they gave us to do their launch, company launch, and they're able to give us also some safari for their guests from abroad. They're having guests from all over the country, and they gave us a check of 1.5 million shillings, and I think that was the best event. And it was a 4-day event. The first day was the launch. Second day they're doing some team building, and 2 other days they're launching other products. So that was one of our best events.
What gives you the greatest satisfaction? Is it the money at the end of the day? Is it, what else is it for you? Is it all about just making?
It's not really about making money. It's about seeing the client once they're done, and they come to you and tell you, that was amazing. That is just, nothing can buy that. Just seeing everything going smoothly. Seeing your clients happy, seeing that they've asked for this, they've asked for yellow flowers or blue lilies, and they come there and they see, you actually brought blue lilies, you actually brought extra lighting for us, you actually brought very nice food. That is very satisfactory. Yes.
What are some of the most difficult things you've had to procure when a client wants?
There's sometimes clients want flowers which are not in season, and they still want it. There's sometimes clients who want to have an event for maybe say 100,000 shillings, and the budget is 20,000 shillings. So that becomes very difficult to deal with the clients. Sometimes a client wants to do an event, maybe say out of town, of course, and maybe say we have done an event in Watamu, and they want some items, but you cannot get them in Watamu. They have to be shipped in from Nairobi. So those are some of the difficult challenges that we have to experience.
So how do you navigate those difficult conversations?
So in such situations, we just have to tell the clients the truth. You confirm these things last minute, so we're able to deliver. If we can, we would do it, but it's always good to be honest with your client. For example, you can do an event, it's a corporate event, and during the event they realize they needed a podium, and you don't have a podium. What do? You either you can ask someone who's nearby to bring it to you, but if you're unable to make it, if it's within a short time, just tell them we're unable to do it. Because clients have very, very crazy demands. Yeah? So it becomes very, very crazy. Some clients want certain colors. They want lilac flowers. Where do you get lilac flowers from?
Yeah.
They don't, they've seen a concept somewhere in Europe. They've seen someone who's done light sky blue lilies with the dark blue petals. So you have to individually dye the flowers. It's hard to get such kind of things.
So you try what you can. I want to see some of the pictures of some of the things you have done now that you went into the business. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
You can see that up there? Yeah. Let's just run through a few of them.
Okay.
Since you began this thing, look at that stage that you have up there. So, are all this equipment your equipment, or what happens?
That's a good question, because since we didn't have a lot of money, we outsourced equipment. So this stage, as you can see, is done by a company called Cross Entertainment Sound. They have the stage, they have the lights, and they have the TV panels. So I outsourced them at a certain price. For example, I outsourced at 1,000 shillings per truss, and then I'm able to give to a client at 2,000 shillings.
Yeah.
So like this one at this time, this is we worked with a company called Cross Entertainment, and they did a very good job, and they're good partners to our business. At least at this point, we've been able to buy some of the equipment. So as we grow, we end up buying our own equipment, because at some point you also need to have control of the equipment. So
you do everything, even party launches, from party launches to funerals.
To funerals, to book launches, like that. Like this one was an event in Lodo. This was last year for ODM, where we did Ryan was doing some campaign. So we did a 2-day trip through West Pokot, through Eldoret, to Turkana, all the way to Lodwar, and we set up the tents. And like this one, since we now have our own equipment, we're able to do the sound setup and the stage and the lights. But we had the tents by Binti Events, who did the very beautiful A-frame tent.
So when you do not have,
we outsource.
Do you ever say no?
You can never say no. If a client wants a helicopter, you will get a helicopter. If you want a private jet, a G5 aeroplane that like 50 Cent is riding from.
You say yes,
You say yes. Then as you're saying eco, as your client is turning around, you're turning this side, making calls. By the way, kuna jet, I need a 5-seater Gulfstream jet. No is never an option. You say no to a client, you put that in their heads, and it creates a very bad precedent, and you may not even lose a deal. I've lost a deal worth 700,000 shillings because we said, no, we don't have this equipment. They're like, Sawa, give us the one who has. And the person who has had to get from someone else. It was not even theirs.
And then you realize even the worst one of
Yes. If someone says, do you have grounds in Karen? Yes, we do. In fact, we have 5 acres in Hardy area. I can take you even today if you want to go. Can I get my driver to come and we take you there right now?
How do you make sure that even with you not saying no and being shrewd as it is, that you actually live up to your clients' expectations? Because sometimes, you might refer me to bring you something. That's
a good question. Working in an association makes a huge difference. You have people who understand business. They have had fails and they've had successes. So we work with partners who we are sure, even if we close right now, they will deliver. We have partners in Kisumu, for example, Oriental Locations. I may not necessarily have to go to Kisumu. I have my business in Nairobi, but I work with them, but they will deliver as if they're there. They'll even wear my company uniform just to represent us. We have partners in Diani. We have partners in Nyali. So we are sure that they'll deliver. And of course, we've worked with them before. We've done one event here. We've done 2 events there. Physically, we've met. So we are sure that they meet our quality standards. So we don't have to be there physically.
How have you gone about choosing such people? Have you had moments where you sent somebody some work?
Yeah.
And then they didn't deliver well. Alafu wewe ukapata the hit.
I've had instances where at the prime of our business career, we had 7 events in one weekend. So we had one, it was at Hilton, Double Tree on Ngong Road, where I got a DJ who had a small equipment to go set up at a Zumba party. So the DJ is calling us, hey, we're telling you, where are you? So in short, they were late by about 30 minutes. So in that situation, we don't work with such people again. Because you can imagine, this is an event, this is a planned event. Maybe someone has hired a room, but the person has gone late. That's the end we're working with you. But of course, we had instances where we tell a supplier to go deliver, and they deliver 2 hours before. And that's it. We continue working with you until the day that you disappoint. And hopefully you don't disappoint. Yeah. So it's always good to definitely work with people who, who understand business, who put the business before the money. They're not asking you, how much are you paying me? They're asking you, where is the location for the event? Where are we taking the clients? Are we taking them to Masai Mara? Sawa. These are the options for Nakuru. We have Amboseli, we have Ankorok. Let's get the details first, then discuss the money later. In my experience, those are the kind of partners that are the best to work with in business. People who put the business before the money.
You started your business in 2018, yeah?
Actually, 2017.
2017, but 2018 is when you are really deep in it. Yeah. Tell me about the Corona period.
Oh, good question. Corona got us a good one. At the time Corona was starting, we were supposed to do a launch, a cake tasting for about 50 brides. We had even bought the cakes, we had paid for the venue, and then the Friday before, because it was on a Saturday, I can never forget, it was the Friday before, they said all events cancelled, we're no longer having events, we have curfew, move on with your life. Of course, it was very tough because you're used to doing an event for 200 people, 500 people, and now you have to do 15 people. For our business, the more people there are, the more money we make. So we were not able to get business for about 6 to 7 months. So that was definitely a very tough
So
period.
what happened in that period? What were you doing? How was it like?
Good question. So I had to adjust. I started a car wash business. I partnered with someone who already had an existing car wash business, and I told him, let me manage your car wash, pay me a salary, but I will bring you business. I started the business, he was paying me a salary of 40,000 shillings per month, and I was able to bring in customers, and I would get a certain commission for every car that comes to get washed.
So how are you going about sourcing the cars? That you're so sure you'll bring more
Good
than was
question.
there?
Having a marketing background helps a lot. With the marketing background, I knew that you have to be there in the client's face. So before we used to do flyers and all these morning activations, what I did is I just implemented the same thing. We did branding for the car wash. In the morning at 6 a.m., I was on the road with 3 other car wash attendants, telling the customers, come inside, come drink coffee, wash your car, get a drink free coffee. Wash your car, pay chai ya bure. And in 6 months, we increased the business from 60K per month, which they were making, to 180,000 shillings per month.
So you're even able to factor your salary in there?
Of course, definitely. Because if I don't factor my salary in, and I'm now employed, they cannot...
So this you did the entire COVID period?
The entire COVID period, that's what I did. 6 months, car wash business.
Yeah.
And it taught me the value of being able to adjust. You have to be able to humble yourself and adjust. Yes, you've been earning your 120K per month, but now reality has come, you don't have an income. What do? Do you go there, start wearing a nice suit, saying that, I used to earn this money? No. You go there, humble yourself. If it's wearing an overall, the wash cars, because this is just for a moment, adjust yourself for a moment, because at the end of the day, you have bills to make, and look forward to a brighter day the following day.
Yeah. Are those brighter days back?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How are people doing events-wise right now?
Right now, events are doing quite well, of course, because a lot of people were not able to do the events during that period of time. So a lot of people are now doing their stuff. People are launching their books. People have realized that, I can do a birthday party. I can now get married. You learn a lot of things. So I can say the same transformation that we've gone through in the business, even in events, people have realized, I used to have a lot of freedom to do this. I wasted my time. I used to give myself excuses. I can't travel. I can't go for hiking. I can't climb a plane. A lot of people are realizing I can actually pay 5K and fly to Mombasa and back. I can go to Kisumu and start a business. So I can say it has been, the trajectory is all the way up in the roof. Yeah.
It's revolutionary.
It's revolutionary.
I tell you. What do you say to people who, are afraid of the jump?
Great.
And there are very many.
Yeah. So what I can say is, have faith. Take the leap of faith. I remember, let me quote Mr. Nyongesa. This is was my swimming teacher back when I was in primary school. I remember I wanted to jump in the deep end, but I wasn't able to jump because, of course, I was afraid. I could swim in the shallow end, but I'm not able to swim in the deep end because I'm afraid of drowning. He held my hand and he said, let's jump together. So we jumped into the deep end. And the minute we got into the swimming pool, he let go of my hand. So I came back into the water and I started trading in the water. And then I went to the rail. I'm like, okay, that wasn't so bad. So I went back after the swimming pool and then I jumped into the deep end again and was able to learn how to swim. So in the same concept as saying business, if you're not able to jump to the deep end, get someone who has been there before, jump together with them. Once you're there with them, then you can flow. But other than that, if you have the courage to jump, just jump. Well, what's the worst case that could happen? You could either drown or you could either survive. But you have to be positive and say,
but you'll never know till you jump.
You'll never know till you jump. But that jumping, that small decision between jumping and not jumping is what differentiates an entrepreneur and someone who is very closed-minded. You have to be willing to make that risk. Without the risk, there's no reward. You have to be willing to say, I have 100,000 shillings. I don't have rent for next month, but I want to put this 100K in samosa business. I don't know if guys will buy my samosa, but I'm going to try and do it. Without that, it's very difficult to
Yeah,
proceed.
like what you're saying, no risk, no reward.
Yeah, yeah.
How you are working with your partner right now?
Yeah.
How important is it to have, somebody else like?
It's good to have a support structure. There are days, of course, when you've had a long day. You've had clients who've done a very good job, but they refuse to pay you. What do you do? Even as of recent, as of last year, we had a nice client, a childhood friend who gave us business, but then refused to pay us 80,000 shillings. Alikimbia Uganda, na pesa yetu. So what do? You need to have someone where you can at least run to some sort of like pillar. Someone you can go give stories by there, kale upse ametufanyia nini? Tukwambia huyu situpeleke tu tumuingize ndani kwa polisi kidogo afundishe adabu. You need someone who will tell you and then relax. Let's focus on the bigger picture. Let's take that as a learning lesson. That is what some of my friends call school fees. If you didn't pay school fees to learn how to go to business school, that money you've lost, that is school fees for you. Now let's move forward. You'll never have.
I like that.
You're the school fees.
You're the school fees ya kujifunza hii biashara.
The next time you'll meet a client, utasema hapana, kama kuna pesa, then hatufanyi. Because you've learned from experience, and you allow yourself to go through that because that is a learning curve. Right now we don't lose any money because we've learned through the ropes.
You've known what to do, where to.
We've learned how to do a contract. We've learned how to make sure that.
Because the money, I especially for those of us who tried MC.
Yeah.
You MC unaambiwa utaona treasurer baada ya events. After the events, the treasurer like, I'm busy. I'm paying other people. Exactly. Yours is like a small.
Exactly.
A small structure in that set. Utafukuzana nayo. You've had those before, right?
Of course, we've had events when we had at the point Uchumi before they went down. We did an activation. They put the DJ had dancers. They're like, "Don't worry, we'll pay you after 3 days. We will pay you." 3 days, Gani. The money was coming after 8 months. 8 months down the line is when they're, and that's after you've chased them. You've gone to the offices. And you have your debtors. You have to pay transport. You have to. So yes, we've learned. We've had corporates who they'll pay you after the event after 30 days. 30 days, you're looking at your account balance. There's nothing.
In hindsight, what do you think you should have known before you started?
I believe I should have known at least the principles of doing business in terms of budgeting.
Some education.
Some education, at least some from guys who've been there before. Possibly learning from seminars, business talks, guys who've been in business, learning the do's and don'ts of business. Do this, do that, wear this, wear that. Package yourself, have a company, be tax compliant. This is some of the things that I guess I should have learned. Because mainly I entered the Kenyeji, I have business, I have a name, let's do this business. But then I realized there's tax implications from KRA. You get money, you get 100,000 shillings, you have to pay withholding tax of 5%. Yes, you'll get the business, but after 5 months, you'll have a KRA knocking at your door. Where's our money? So melipwa. So that sort of education goes a long way. And even when it comes to discussing with a client, when they ask you some questions, you're able to answer them confidently because you have the knowledge. They're asking you, so are you VATable? If you don't know what VAT means, you'll be like, hey, you don't know where to start. If you don't know, if you don't have a company, say business account, some clients are not going to pay you and say Levy, they're not going to pay to Levy Connect, they're going to pay to Levy Limited or Levy Enterprises. You have to package yourself. And that I can say is important to
so
learn.
So you take time to learn something
Yeah.
about what you're doing.
What are you doing? Are you starting a car business? Are you starting a matatu business? Learn what are the road licenses? What are the costs for repair? What are the costs for, do you need to pay PE? Do you need to pay your employees? Do you need to pay NHIF? Learn those things. Don't just buy a matatu and just put it on the road because you've seen matatus going all the Langata Road and Rongai every day and you think they're making money. Learn those things.
That would have been really quite helpful. Very nice saying that. And in terms of now the your vision going forward, what do you foresee? What's in it for events? Because are we going places with it? How do you see it changing?
We are.
The metamorphosis.
Prior to when we were growing up, because of course I grew up in Nairobi and we came from the days where we just do a birthday party and you'd have maybe say popcorn and crepes and all that. Now we're moving to specifics. You want something more fancy. You want a DJ for your party. You want flowers for your birthday party. You want to do a theme. Like we did an event for a guy who the child is turning 1. The son is called Cairo, which is the capital city of Egypt. So he wanted an Egyptian themed party. So everything from the decor to the centerpieces, we needed to make it Egyptian themed. So people are getting
very specific.
Very specific, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's still room for
there's still room for those
What do you tell
things.
people who want to jump into it and say, you know, I'm not as big as Golden Memories.
Yeah.
And hands up.
I can say start from where you are. Do you have 5,000 shillings and then you grow with the ropes. Our first investment was 400,000 shillings. Okay, we bought the speakers and all that, and we're able to grow and grow and grow. And right now we've invested about 5 million shillings over a period of 5 years. We are growing. We didn't say we want to wait until we are somewhere to start. Okay. When I was buying the camera, let me just take you back to the camera that I bought. I bought the camera for 30,000 shillings. Okay. I would charge maybe say 3K or 5K for someone's birthday party, but I started that's where I started. So I can say start pole, grow, learn. It's better you learn and make mistakes when you're having a small income and small businesses than you reach in a place where you have a very big business but you're not making profit. Yes, you have a big name, but you're not making profit. At the end of the day, you have creditors, debtors on your back. And for us, I can say some of these things come as long as you do our job and guys enjoy. We end up even getting jobs out of the country. Did I know that at some point we'd be doing events outside the country? No. We learned from the same job that we did. We had clients who are like, we have a branch in Uganda. We have a branch in Rwanda. Can you do this? We're like, yes, let's do this. And as we move on, for example, as we're looking to set up shop in Rwanda, at some point Congo, I'm confident to do that because we have learned by doing events in Nairobi, in Mombasa, in Watamu. We've done an event in Kisii, in Nyahururu. So we've mastered our locality. Now we can take the same expertise to a different country. I cannot come to my business 3 months into my business and now we're opening up a branch in another town or another city. We need to grow because there's different dynamics.
I hear you.
Yeah.
We're out of time, man. You're social media?
Yes, we are. Of course.
Where else?
Golden Memories Adventures and Events on Facebook. Golden Memories Events Kenya on Instagram. But if you just type Golden Memories Adventures on Golden Memories Events, we're the only ones in Kenya.
You're the only ones providing golden memories.
Yes. And just as the name decides, that's exactly what we want to do. Give people golden memories. Because sometimes life can be tough, but we want to give people hope. And you can smile despite the challenges. Yes, today you walked from town to whatever. But you can reach home and make yourself a nice cup of coffee and a nice sandwich and smile with the family. That is what we want to do.
True that.
Yeah.
What's your parting shot to all the viewers?
My parting shot to all my viewers is believe in yourself, trust in God, and have some faith. There's so much potential in Kenya and in Africa, and we are growing. We need to believe that our dark skin color, or even if you're a Muzungu in Africa, you can do so much more. If right now I'm 31 years old and we are doing so much, it doesn't matter whether you are 25 or 50. Where you are, start from where you are and move on. Start from where you are. Yeah.
Michel LIBAMIRA. Oh, by the way, there's guys who are asking the name Michel. Say something about it.
Michel is a French name. So I was giving my mother, it means Michael in French. The French people do not like English names. So any name that they can Frenchianize, if that's a word, they make it French.
So it's
Michael in French.
So it's Michel.
Yeah. When I was born, I remember my mother told the doctor at Kenyatta Hospital, this boy is called Michel. They're like, Apana, mama, this is a girl. This is a boy, sorry. Why are you giving him a female name? You must be very tired. In fact, my birth certificate, they wrote Michael, so I had to change it later on. Yeah, but it's Michael in French. Yeah. And at least I can say thank God. I thank my parents for giving me that name because it gives me a lot of leverage. When I get customers, they're like, Michel, that must be an international guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm Kenyan, but...
And you know how we are.
Yes.
We like international guys.
Exactly.
Michel LIBAMIRA, CEO Golden Memories Adventures and Events.
Yes.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you too.
That's 59 minutes for today. Stay tuned for Leah coming up with the lawsuit and have a wonderful day.